Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Acolyte episode 6. Let's get right into it. So tonight we watched the Acolyte episode 6. It aired, today is Friday, July 5th. So due to the holiday, we weren't able to watch it when it aired on Tuesday. So it's been a couple days, but we watched it tonight. And I'm probably going to be a lot more harsh on this episode because we watched it and then we watched House of the Dragon episode 1 of season 2, and it's a lot better. And so I'm doing my review after that, so I'm gonna be a little harsh with this episode. So yeah, where to begin? So in last episode, this will contain spoilers for episode 5 of the Acolyte, so if you care about spoilers, don't watch this until after you watch the show. But basically at the end of episode 5, May knocked Osha out and switched places with her, and May went with Sol, and Osha in this episode wakes up with the Sith guy, or like where the Sith guy is keeping her. His name is Chimere, I think. So she walks out on this beach. It's kind of a really pretty set, like, so the world is kind of cool, like it's a beach with this ocean and stuff. So she goes, finds him, he's swimming around and he's unclothed, but like it didn't show anything, so that was kind of a little awkward. But it didn't show anything. It feels like a little too edgy in my opinion. But anyways, he's not even concerned. Like, she grabs his lightsaber and he's just like chatting away with her. So I really enjoyed the conversation between him and her, and seems like he's trying to like convince her to join the dark side, but it's kind of like he's not really that concerned or worried about her. So we got a little bit more about his character. He seemed like he used to be a Jedi, but he did say a long time ago, and he keeps saying that, and so I'm interested to see like how long ago did he mean, and like what happened and everything. And that he has this scar on his back that she sees a couple times, or I don't know if it's on his chest or his back, but it's one of those, and she sees it and asks him where he got it, and he said something about because he confronts her about how the Jedi just let her go and that she wasn't good enough for them and that she failed and that's why they didn't want her. So he's trying to like turn her against the Jedi. And after he makes those comments to her later, she sees the scar, asks him where he got it from, and he said how he was discarded too, basically kind of implying that his Jedi Master gave it to him. He kind of implied that his Jedi Master gave it to him, and because of that, my suspicions, I don't know if this is what they're going to do, because honestly the writers suck so bad, I don't know if they would think to do this, but I think his master is going to end up being the green-skinned Jedi, the green-skinned bald female Jedi who is keeping all this from the council. So meanwhile, the green-skinned bald-headed female Jedi, her apprentice, Master Sol, got a distress signal out and basically told them that everybody on his team died, which again, they're not supposed to really find out about this because they're not supposed to know about the Sith, so I don't know how they're going to make this fit in canon, but whatever. And he goes and tells her, and she decides to go on a mission to go with the Jedi to try to find out what happened to Sol and the whole team and everything. And so they go to the planet. It starts with a K, and it's like Kashyyyk, but it's not Kashyyyk. Kotar or something to that effect, and they go there, and I thought they were going to think that the Jedi kind of killed each other, because some reigning theories is that they showed the red dust a lot, and so maybe they're going to think or assume that the dust made them hallucinate and that the Jedi killed each other, and that's why they had lightsaber wounds, because that would be the easiest way to cover it up. But they didn't, and in fact the green-skinned bald-headed female Jedi and her apprentice talk about it, and she kind of talks him through, like, what do you see, what does this mean? She's kind of like asking him to kind of come to the conclusions for himself, kind of teaching him, I assume. And he kind of like, well, the lightsabers, you know, and there was a force, and there was an explosion, and there was lightsaber wounds is what killed them, so somebody really powerful took them all on. It was like 1 to 8, and so he was like, could it have been Master Sol? But then why would he have given us a distress signal and stuff? And the looks on her face made me think that there's more to this. And then when you do that, and it's like scene cutting back to the Sith guy Chimere talking with Osha about his past and his Jedi Master, that's where I got my suspicion from, that the green-skinned Jedi is going to be his apprentice, and he fell, and she's embarrassed and like doesn't want to either get in trouble or like have people find out about her shame that her apprentice fell to the dark side. And so that's why she's trying to cover it up and be so secretive. And she knows that this is her apprentice who is doing this. So I think that's what they're going to do. And I want it to fit into canon because it's getting so close to the Jedi finding out, like, there are Jedi on this team running around who know that a Sith or a dark Jedi or a fallen Jedi killed Jedi. And it's like, how does this fit in with the Sith have been extinct for a millennium? It doesn't make sense. Like, a Jedi who falls to the dark side is a Sith. So it's like, how do you go about the Sith being extinct for a millennium? How do you keep that true? It doesn't make sense. So in the middle of all this, we're back to Sol, and May disguises Osha, and for some reason the little rodent and Pip, Osha's droid, pick up on the fact that she's May, and they try to hurt her, and the little rodent stomps on her foot and it hurts her, and then Pip squirts her in the face with some sort of oil or whatever, and then she resets Pip, and they pick up on all that in the meantime that Sol is treating her like Osha, and he's opening up to her, and he's, you know, guilty and everything else, and they get close to kind of dancing around the truth of what happened, but they don't actually mention anything. And then at one point they're talking, and then he knocks her out and stuns her, and she wakes up kind of chained, and he's like, it's time to make things right, and he's basically going to turn him over to the High Council and tell them the whole truth about what happened, and it kind of ends before then. And then back to Chimere and Osha, the real Osha. He's trying to get her to put on his helmet. He talks about the helmet. So the helmet is this cryosis or krytosis or some sort of metal that's a Legends metal. I do know it's in Legends and some of the comics and books or something. And it's a type of metal that can shut off like lightsaber. It like resists energy and shuts off the energy. So that's the kind of helmet, the metal that his helmet was. And for some reason he wants her to put it on. He says it's a sensory, it like deprives you of all of your senses so that it's just you and the Force. And he tries to convince her to put it on. So she goes over there, she looks at it, it's a really slow scene, and she puts it on, she's breathing heavy and kind of panicking, and then it ends. Kind of a weird place to end the episode. I'm not really sure what the significance is. So it's kind of like a lot of this was kind of pointless, other than some of the tidbits we get about Chimere's character, and like, but there wasn't enough information given to help us know anything. And I feel like that's been the premise for this whole show, is that it feels like it's trying to reveal things and give you information, but it's actually not really telling you anything at all because it's very vague. And then everything in this episode was completely pointless. I mean, why didn't Master Soul sense that May was actually, that what he thought was Osha was actually May? Because he was able, in the last episode, he was able to sense the Sith guy was familiar until his helmet came off, and that revealed that, oh, okay, he sensed him because he was the apothecary guy. So Soul knew the apothecary guy only once, like they briefly met, and he was somehow able to sense that. And yet he knows Osha and he knows May really well, especially Osha, and that he wasn't able to sense that this was actually May, not Osha, until the very end. And yet the rodent and the Pip droid figured it out before he did. And then the Jedi know that a whole team of Jedi, like 7 or 8 Jedi, have been murdered by a Jedi who is no longer a Jedi, who fell to the dark side. And yet the Sith are supposed to be extinct for a millennium. And then May's character makes no freaking sense. Like, she started off wanting to kill all the masters to get revenge for her sister. She finds out her sister's alive, and then she starts having doubts, and that's when she tells Chimere that she's going to turn herself in. So she goes to turn herself in, finds the Wookiee Jedi dead, and that's when she sees the fight between Chimere, the Sith guy, and all of the Jedi. And so she runs to try to escape, even though she was supposed to be trying to protect her sister. And then she meets her sister, hugs her sister, knocks her sister out, leaves her sister for dead, trades places with her, leaving her sister in the hands of the Sith Lord still running around. And then she goes with Soul, and there's several scenes where she has a knife and she's going to stab him in the back, and then he turns around or something happens and she doesn't. So she's trying to kill Soul, even though she said just like 2 episodes ago, which was just an hour or so ago in the timeline, that she was going to turn herself into the Jedi and make things right. And now she's back on her old mission to try to kill them all and kill Soul. It just, what the heck? It doesn't make any sense at all. So like, I would say 2 stars, because this is not only a slower episode, but nothing in this episode made any sense or was enjoyable at all. But the Chimere stuff was kind of intriguing to me, so I guess bump it back up to 3 stars. But this was like below average. This was a below average episode. And again, just the Chimere, like, I love Chimere's character. I just hope they make sure that he fits in really well to the canon. So it was a below average episode with some good thing, like some interesting tidbits about Chimere's character in it, really. And if they make the green-skinned chick his Jedi master, I mean, they could pull it off in a way that would make sense, that she's ashamed of it, so she tries to keep it secret from the Council and the Jedi and everything. But trying to keep this away from the Council, either the Council are going to look like morons, because at this point, like, Ki-Adi-Mundi was in the meeting a couple episodes ago, so he knows that they went to the mission, and at some point, even if they try to hide this, he's going to find out that they never came back from that mission. So to not investigate that makes you kind of cold-hearted or an idiot. And so to not find out about this makes the Council stupid. And if they know about this, then Ki-Adi-Mundi is basically lying to Qui-Gon Jinn and throwing Qui-Gon Jinn under the bus in the episode 1, which results in Qui-Gon getting killed, because he got killed because they didn't believe him, and therefore they didn't send him any help to go fight Maul. And so it's like Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to end up being the reason why Qui-Gon got killed. And if Kai knows about all this, or if the you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lose-lose situation. Either the Jedi Council doesn't know, in which case they're idiots, or they did know and they deliberately didn't believe Qui-Gon and for some reason sent him to his death. Either one is not going to look good for the canon, so barely 3 stars, and the only reason why it's 3 is because of Chimere, and some of the stuff with him was pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know what else to say. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In the meantime, if you liked my review of this episode of The Acolyte, then check out my review for the next episode, because I don't think it's going to get any better, but I will be here critiquing it and tearing it apart and being honest about my critiques the whole way, so you don't want to miss it. So check that out.